Hey guys, what's going on? It's Coach Luca with
Joel Jamieson.
and today we're going to cover best cardio for fat loss. Or should I say, is there a best cardio for fat loss?
Is there? That is the question.
That's the big question.
Do you even need cardio for fat loss?
So we'll dig into that. But first, the thing that still a lot of people believe and like think about is, and I hear it all the time. I say, listen, I'm doing this type of cardio because it's in the fat burning zone. My goal is to burn fat. So let's dig into this first.
Yep.
Is there a fat burning zone when it comes to cardio? And what does it even mean?
Yeah, I mean, look, traditionally what you're looking at is where does the energy come from that you're using to burn calories, right? So anytime you're exercising, you're moving around, you are no doubt burning more calories. And as you increase the intensity, at some point your body starts relying more and more on sugars and burning less of a higher percentage of fat. However, the idea, though, is that your body shifts into this total carb-only zone, which it can do at very high intensities, but that's not what most people are doing. So the answer is that, yes, there are percentages of your heart rate where you're burning a higher percentage of calories from fat, but it doesn't mean you're burning more total calories from fat.
So, in the end, it really doesn't matter.
It doesn't, I mean, let me put it this way. We need to step back here and talk about, first of all, what is the first thing that people do when they say, I want to lose some body fat? They say, okay, I need to do more cardio and I need to eat fewer calories, right? Now, while there's truth to that, there's also a downside to that, okay? So first of all, let's talk about something that's really important. Write down number one here, okay? About 28% of the calories that you burn in a workout come from the body pulling from other areas where it's already going to put that energy in. So in other words, if my body was going to burn, let's just say 3,000 calories, if I did no workout, and then I do a workout that, let's say, burns another 1,000 calories according to whatever I'm using to calculate that, I don't actually burn 4,000 calories in that day. My body's gonna take about 28% of those, and it's just gonna reduce that 3,000 by pulling calories away. So you don't burn all the calories in your workout from fat. No matter what you do, I don't care what you do, it's going to come from other parts of your metabolism. Essentially, what we're going to go towards, you burn fat, but it's going to go somewhere else anyway. So the second thing to understand is that your body has a finite amount of energy it can create in a day. And so if we create these really big caloric deficits, it doesn't like it, okay? So what I mean by that is your body is very concerned or likes to be stable. It likes set points. That's why it's really hard to push back against those set points and drop weight for a long period of time or make huge changes. So the more we challenge that total energy potential of your body, which is about 2.5 times your BMR or resting metabolic rate, either one, we start to get pushed back from the body. So this is why if we make our goal, this is one of the things I see with fat loss is people make their goal, what? Burn as many calories as they can, right? It just becomes—
Look at the watch.
Yeah.
Did I burn XYZ calories in my workout? That becomes the goal, right?
Yeah, it becomes the goal. Like just burn as many calories as I can, and that's the best approach to fat loss. Well, again, if we start bumping up against our body's energy limits, our body fights back in a lot of ways. Number one, it makes us more hungry. Number two, it makes us less likely to want to move in other parts of the day when we're not working out. And number three, it starts to just decrease your overall motivation to be active and train and do the things that you want to do. And then number four, it does start to pull away from other areas like immune function, reproductive function, all these other areas. So again, just making cardio a goal of like, let's burn as many calories as we can is not really a good idea to start with. And then third, you've probably heard this thing called EPOC, or excess post oxygen consumption. And this is essentially the idea that, okay, I burned X number of calories in a workout, but if I did it at a higher intensity, then my body's gonna burn X percentage more after the workout. Now, there was some pretty compelling research that came out initially showing this number to be relatively high. So the idea was like, okay, I do a bunch of high intensity intervals, I'm gonna burn way more calories after my workout than if I did lower intensity cardio. And so it drove a lot of this idea, like let's just do endless high intensity intervals for our cardio for fat loss. The problem was the newer research came out and said basically this was way overstated. So it's a very, very small percentage. If you burn 1,000 calories from a workout, again, first of all, 28% of those aren't going to be really added on. And secondly, it's a very small amount of this that's gonna happen after the workout. And again, the body can accommodate in other ways by taking energy away from other areas. So when we add this up, a lot of times, again, the traditional way of cardio fat loss is what? Lots of high intensity, burn as many calories as we can, or it's like stay in this optimal fat burning zone for like 2 hours. That's kind of what people do, would you say?
Yep.
But again, none of these are really the right approach. So let's scratch that. Let's say, let's not do this.
So let's turn this around, because this is actually a great point as far as like what, if I looked at the hierarchy of fat loss, and this has been going around and things that I agree with, but I want to touch on some things, right? Number one, this is something that's obviously critical and the most important, right? Which is nutrition.
Exactly.
Meaning, obviously, we've had a whole bunch of talk about what is kind of good principles of nutrition when it comes to fat loss, but taking in less calories than you're burning is going to be an important part. Now, again, like Joel mentioned, if you start dropping too many calories and doing too much training, your body's going to run into a wall because you need that energy for life, right?
Exactly.
Now, second, strength training is very important. Why? Because, well, it's not only healthy, but having lean muscle is going to help you when it comes to this, right? If you're losing muscle, your metabolism's slowing down. So this is critical for a number of different reasons. But here's where it gets interesting, right? If you have up to 3 hours per week, strength training is smart to do if your goal is looking better, building lean muscle, obviously burning fat. The second one, if you're up to 5 hours, now it's like, okay, should we add high intensity training, right? Because if we have 7 to 8 hours, then low intensity training. But that would mean and say, is cardio important when it comes to fat loss? If we're eating right and if we're doing strength training, some people say, well, don't even do cardio. Just go for walks and none of that stuff actually even matters. Like, what do you think about that part?
Look, the reality is we look at this from here. Our goal is to lose fat. Our goal is to drop weight. Nutrition, as you have here at the bottom of the pyramid, is the most important thing. The idea that we don't need cardio for anything fat loss related is silly because we need cardio for our health and fitness and wellness as a whole. So there's rarely ever a point where you say, no, you just don't need cardio. Mm-hmm. Like, do you care about your health? Do you want to live longer? Do you want to stay healthier? Do you want to have well-rounded fitness? You need some conditioning, some cardiovascular work, regardless of your goal. Okay, I don't care if you're a strength athlete, a tactical athlete, a combat athlete, or you just want to live a longer, healthier life. Conditioning, cardiovascular fitness plays a huge role in that. So you always want to have some in there, regardless of what your purpose is. And yes, it will, of course, support fat loss because it's going to promote greater aerobic fitness, which will increase your overall ability to produce or burn fat. And again, it'll drive recovery, which I've talked about elsewhere. So it'll help you be able to recover from all the other work that you are doing. But again, it's making sure that it is in the right proportions and at the right intensities that becomes key.
So that's a great point because, again, finding out one, things too that matter. Like, do you enjoy it? Do you like showing up to do it? But you mentioned recovery, and cardio is such a big, I would say, part of recovery that if you are doing, if you're cutting some calories out, which you probably want to if you want to drop body fat, but you're doing strength training, you are doing some high intensity training. That's where cardio comes in, where it can be used for recovery, and also yes, it's burning calories, but more importantly, it's integrated for health and it's integrated for recovery from the other training.
Exactly.
Right? So don't think of it necessarily as what is the best cardio for fat loss, but think about what is the best cardio for your health to support your fat loss as you're building this pyramid up and obviously keeping nutrition at the foundational level so that you can get the results that you can. But like I said, don't be thrown off by fat burning zones, EPOC, because those are not the big rocks. They're not the things that, I would say drive fat loss per se, but think about the foundational things that can get you there. And again, listen, if you guys love what we're talking about, make sure you make sure you subscribe because we're going to keep dropping more of these. And if you want a full-blown 8-week program that takes you, I would say, your mind out of exactly what you need to do to get the best conditioning, best fitness shape, then make sure you click below, check out Metamorphosis. It's an 8-week program. Like I said, it's one of those where it's written by Joel, #1 conditioning expert in the world. You don't have to do anything but look at what you got to do and basically do it, and you're going to get in the best shape you've been in the next 8 weeks. So we'll see you next time. Coach's Corner, Joel.
See you next time.
We're out.